Good morning, good morning, good morning again, folks. Welcome to today's Forefront Reload and another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do, the usual disclaimers, and then we're going to jump in. Excuse me, I had to swallow some stuff. In the description box, you're going to find link, that the Judge Rotenberg Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much, they've threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. Well, folks, hold on. NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill. Please read that article and share it on all your social media. Also included in there is NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat. Pills, folks. As well as a list to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding in case the JRC actually sees through with their threat. Also included in there, the Ozarks' first article in regards to Agape boarding school, now known as Stone for Help boarding school situation, a so-called Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens that has in pending over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it, all which have been substantiated by the Missouri Department of Social Services, and they include the following: sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation, and that's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor still on the premises with full access to the boys up on multiple, again, substantiated claims of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault of the boys there. You have an attorney general too busy chasing after drag queens and trying and failing to defund public libraries to actually do his job. You got a governor off his nuts, so send help. Read that article, share it on all your social media. Also included in there, all the pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistica Hoya's massive archive on the subject, the link to these 4 interviews with the parents, Jennifer Masumba's behavioral sheet of shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org shut the Judge Rotenberg Center down petition. When we discuss the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, folks, please go ahead and use the headphones, alright? Trigger warning, this channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously parental supervision is advised. Also, trigger warning, while we're going through these tables of the lists of behaviors, you're going to hear me liken back to the things that happened when I was a kid because of stepbrother. So you'll hear mentions of SA and child abuse. Be prepared for that, alright? Alright, we're moving on to Keith. Self-injurious behavior, headbanging, age of 2. Not every autistic engages in self-injurious behavior, but a lot of us do. And there are reasons behind that. Instead of listing it as a behavior, can we please start delving into the why at some point this century? Particularly, I remember when I was that young, the very few incidents I do remember had to do with sensory. Too hot, too cold, the clothing, the material I was wearing was painful. The thing that I was eating caused me physical pain due to sensory issues. Okay? Let's start talking about that, but we gotta prevent self-injurious behavior. Well, the number one way to help deal with self-injurious behavior is delving into the why of self-injurious behavior. I shouldn't have to explain this to you. Crying, biting, scratching others, preschool. But did you attack others in preschool? As far back as I can remember, no, I did not. But there were individuals who did. Usually those who did, come and find out later they were dealing with child abuse or bullying. Okay? But more often than not, we're the ones who are punished. Not the fact that these kids goaded us until we went into meltdown. Okay? Screaming, hitting, elementary. Soothing infrequently, adolescence. Again, wouldn't eat, poor sleeping habits, which began in the facility. Gee, I wonder why you would ever have bad sleeping habits at the JRC. Could it be possibly because I'm hearing other kids getting shocked and screaming in their sleep? Screamed and banged fingers upon waking at the facility. A lot of what they're describing here, and this is going to be a relatively short video, is what most people would describe as severe autistic. And they write it off at that. Thing is, you can't do that. Because no matter how severe or vocal you are or you aren't, again, no matter what the age, it's not something coming out of nowhere. You have a whole host of people failing to find out the great elephant in the room. Why? Anyone ever watch Animaniacs when you were a kid? Do you remember the little kid, I think her name was Lucy, going around and saying, why? Maybe you should take a note out of her book. Because just listing the behaviors without determining the why gets us nowhere. Okay? The longer you go without determining why and putting things into place once you do, the more the behaviors are going to escalate as we get older. Or the behaviors that are already there are going to escalate because there's now more mass and more strength behind them. Okay? But it's irrational behavior because they're autistic, and the only thing that needs torture, really, Karen? Really? Finding out why is the only real answer. It's the only answer that will culminate to any long-lasting results. You can stop anyone temporarily with violence, shocking them out of it even. No, I'm not talking about the get. You know what I meant. But does it last long term? No. Because the underlying issue that is causing the behavior is going undealt with. And so that list of behaviors will continue to get longer and longer. The longer the why continues to not get asked and not get dealt with. It's Logic 101. Now I know things like this can get emotionally charged. And you're reacting. And why is my baby doing this? I understand that. I may not be a parent, but there's certain things that are universal that everybody can comprehend. particularly the emotional response of just wanting it to stop. But that's not reality. If you actually truly want it to stop and stop for good, or at least be brought down to a minimum, you got to start asking the questions. Just like a fist to the face will stop anyone from doing anything for a short period of time, what Matthew Israel does will stop it for a time. But they'll come back. One of the main reasons those kids, more often than not, will get put back on the GED is because the behaviors don't go away. Because what's causing the behaviors is continuously not dealt with. So the answer is, according to them, instead of delving into the why, is continuing this insanity. Why should be in big capital letters. Okay? We're going to keep it short and sweet, folks, and close out on that. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. Please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time, and as always, we here at Snowing Tea hope you have a good one. I will see you for the final front load. Bye-bye. Excuse me while I stare at my computer and autistic work. Damn you.